Good day and welcome again to Diving with Don, where I have even more Nanoose Bay critters, including the divers you see here. But really this diving video is all about our sea-like critters. And we're starting off with one of my favorite geriatric fish. His name is Gramps. We call him Gramps. And look at him to the right side of the screen there. He's barking at us. At least that's what it looks like. It looks like he's barking at us. I think this is his way of signaling to us that he is hungry. Now what you're also seeing between us and Gramps is that millions or thousands of these little shrimp-like creatures. There was obviously a school that had recently hatched, and here they are swarming, hanging out. And I'm sure they're food for other sea life, no doubt. But here's Gramps, and now you see a few lights shining on him, and Pat is getting ready to feed him. So here he goes for the urchin that Pat just gave him. And now watch. He's like a big puppy dog. He's just waiting for Pat to open it up so he can have his snack, because these spiny bits aren't really food. And Gramps does have the physical ability to crunch down on those spines because his palate is all bone. But he much prefers that we open it up for him. So give him a little scratch, say he's a good boy. And then Pat is going to open up the urchin for him. Now the other fish like to circle about like this lingcod you see on the left, because they also like free food. So here goes Gramps, waiting patiently for his piece. Now, this is Mrs. Gramps. Look, she's barking too. I guess she was hungry. But Gramps was getting all the food. We did actually give her a few pieces too, just so you know that we're not gonna let her starve. And here goes Gramps back into his den and to hang out with Mrs. Gramps. This is not Gramps. This is another Wolfield. I believe this guy was at Wall Beach. And he looks very much like Gramps, maybe just a little darker. He's a bigger boy. Now, I've got a lot of these amazing, I'm gonna call them egg yolk jellyfish. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, there were many of them. And while they're a little scary, and those tentacles do sting, as long as you don't swim into it, you're doing okay. And we as divers, most of our body is covered. We have very few pieces around us, like around our mouth, that are that's about the only parts that are exposed to the water. So if we do swim into a tentacle, and I've done it, they can sting a little bit. But aren't they beautiful to watch? They are really a denizen of the deep. But they do... Oh, he's supposed to attack Pat! No. They are fun to watch. The way they pulse, the way they float. Now once in a while they get bottomed out. I don't know if this is natural or if this is a oops on their part, but this guy is now on the bottom, and the yellow part is now trailing along behind him. So again, somebody smarter than me can tell me if this is a good or a bad thing. Here's another one that got bottomed out. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't know if they survive it, but we had so many lately. Here's one of my cute little slugs. These types of nudibranchs. They're striped, they're cute. Little horns at the front. Here's one of my favorite kind, the giant Pacific nudibranch. This guy's cruising along the bottom, looking for some snacks. That's his head on the left. Fortunately, he's a little hidden behind that piece of weed. Kelp crab, or a type of crab anyway. Head crabitude. This is a type of egg mass, I don't know what. Don't have a lot of video of it, but you can see how the current ripples it. Now here, not a cabezon. This, Pat correctly identified for me, is an Irish lower. We don't see many of them, but we do see a lot of these rockfish. This here is at Cotton Point, coming back, and there was a whole school of them hanging around this rock. Here's one of the largest lingcods we've seen in this area. He's a big boy, or girl. As I get closer, the camera figures its focus out and he becomes a little clearer. But there we are. We're going to get closer to the end of this video. Lots of schools of fish recently in our area. So here's a lot of fry. I think they said yan. Nope, this could be Madrona Point. I'm sorry about that. I was going to say Cano. I think it's Madrona. But it's just fun. It is fun swimming through a school and they form around you. Very neat. Thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Here's another school. It's not a larger school of these tube snets. You've seen these before. I think I had some of these in the last video I did. And we're getting, I think, near the end of this video. We've got one last shot of the school of these little fish. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Diving with Don. As always, there will be more, but I'll call it a day. And you guys have a great one. Cheers.